God bless you all. This is Nicole
and Juancho Achury,
leaders of the marriage ministry of our church, Iglesia Tercer Cielo, here in Groveland, Florida, bringing you the weekly devotional in God's way. The goal is for God to use this word so that your life is ministered and leads you to make changes both on a personal and spiritual level as well as a family unit. The title for today's devotional is Our Children Learn About Love by Watching Us. Psalms 127:3 says, Children are a heritage from the Lord, offsprings a reward from Him. Children are a gift from God, but they are also a responsibility. God calls us not to only provide food, education, and security for them, He calls us to shape their hearts. And here is the truth that we as married couples must remember. Our children learn far more from what they see in us than from what they hear from us. We may tell them, you must respect others, yet they are watching how we speak to one another when we are upset. We might teach them, you must forgive, yet they are watching to see if mom and dad know how to ask for forgiveness. We might tell them, God must be the center of your life, yet they are watching to see if God truly occupies the center of our home. This is why before asking ourselves, how are we raising our children, perhaps we should ask ourselves, what are we teaching them about love through our marriage? Because our marriage is one of the first books our children read about love. We have divided this devotional into 4 points. Number 1, love. The love our children see. In 1 John chapter 3 verse 1 says, See what great love the Father has lavished on us, that we should be called children of God, and that is what we are. God's love is not merely declared, it is demonstrated. And that same applies to marriages. We may tell our spouse, I love you, but our children need to see how that love is manifested in our actions. How do mom and dad speak to each other? How do they treat each other when they are tired? How do they react when they disagree? How do they look at each other? How do they forgive each other? How do they support each other? How do they speak about one another when one is not present? Our children are learning. They are building their definition of love based on what they see at home. That is why one of the best things we can give our children is not just a good education, but a marriage where they can witness a healthy, sacrificial, and genuine love. Marital love is also taught through small gestures, a hug, a kiss before leaving, a thank you, a how was your day, and I'll take care of it, forgive me, and I'm with you. Sometimes we think our children need grand displays, but often what they need most is to see that mom and dad still choose each other in the little things. Because a secure home isn't built with walls alone, it is built on the way two people love each other within those walls. Number 2, presence. Being together doesn't mean being present. Matthew 28:20 reminds us of Jeshua's words. And I assure you that I will be with you always until the end of the world. One of the characteristics of God's love is His presence. God doesn't just love us from afar, He is present. And something similar happens in marriage. We can live under the same roof and yet be emotionally distant. We can sit together on the sofa, but each be looking at the phones. We can have dinner together, but not converse. We can sleep in the same bed, but live in completely different worlds. Physical presence doesn't always mean emotional connection. Our children need to see that mom and dad don't just share a house, they share a life. And our spouse needs to feel our presence too. Sometimes we want to give our children extraordinary experiences, but we neglect the relationship with our husband or wife. We want to take them on vacation, buy them things, take them to do activities, yet the marriage is functioning merely as a partnership to manage the household. This is why we must remember, we shouldn't just raise children together. We must keep building our marriage while raising children. Our children need to know they are important, but they also need to see that the marriage is important. An uncomfortable question. When was the last time your spouse had your undivided attention? No phone, no television, no children interrupting, no work, no social media, just the two of you. Sometimes we don't need a 3-day romantic getaway. We need 15 minutes of heartfelt conversation. How are you really? Is anything worrying you? How can I help you? What can I do to make this week easier for you? Marital intimacy often begins with attention. Number 3, teaching. Our children learn from our example. In Deuteronomy 6:6-7 says, "Impress on your heart these words that I command you today. Teach them diligently to your children." But notice something important. Before telling them to teach these things to your children, God says, impress on your heart. It must be within us first. We cannot teach what we're not striving to live out. Our children need to hear us speak about God, yes. They need to see us pray. They need to hear the word, but they also need to see how our faith affects our marriage. They need to see that when we have a problem, we seek God. Let them see that when we fail, we ask for forgiveness. Let them see that when we don't know what to do, we pray. Let them see that we can't disagree without destroying each other. Let them see that the Bible is not just a book we open on Sundays, but an authority for our home. Marriage becomes a classroom. Our children learn forgiveness when they see us ask for it. Grace when they see us give another a chance. Respect when they hear us listening to one another. Faithfulness when we honor our vows. Patience when we treat each other with mercy. Faith when we seek God in the midst of difficulties. And here is something powerful. Perhaps the most important sermon our children hear about marriage won't be preached from a pulpit. It will be observed from our living room. Number 4, guidance and direction. A marriage walking in the same direction. Psalms 23 begins by saying, "The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing." God guides, corrects, protects, and directs. And as a parent, we have the responsibility to guide our children. But there is something we must understand. It is very difficult to guide our children in one direction when mom and dad are walking in different directions. That is why marital unity is fundamental. It doesn't mean we will always think alike. It doesn't mean we will never have differences. It means we learn to resolve our differences without turning them into wars. There are decisions we must discuss as a couple. How will we discipline? What values do we want to teach? How will we handle money? What limits will we set regarding technology? How will we protect our marriage? How will we handle our family relationships? How will we cultivate our spiritual life? When dad says one thing and mom says another, children become confused. But when dad and mom learn to talk, pray, and decide together, they convey a sense of security. We don't need to be perfect parents. We need to be parents who depend on a perfect God. And we do not need to have a perfect marriage either. We need a marriage that has the humility to turn back to God again and again. A truth to cherish. Perhaps one of the greatest gifts we can give our children is a marriage worth imitating. Not because we argue, not because we make mistakes, not because everything is perfect, but because our children can say, "I saw my parents go through hard times, but I also saw how they forgave each other. I saw that they didn't always agree, but they learned to respect one another. I saw that they faced problems, but they never stopped seeking God. I saw that after so many years, they still chose each other." That is powerful, because one day our children will grow up, the house will grow quieter. We won't have to ask them 10 times if they've done their homework. We won't have to drive them everywhere anymore. And a stage will come when it's just husband and wife again. That is why we cannot allow ourselves to spend 20 years dedicated exclusively to being mom and dad while forgetting how to be husband and wife. Our children are part of our purpose, but our marriage still needs attention. Prayer for our marriage and our children. Lord, thank you for our family. Thank you for the gift of our marriage and for the children you have placed in our care. Help us to understand that before we teach our children how to love, we need to learn to love the way you have taught us. Teach us to love each other with patience, to forgive each other with grace, to speak to each other with the respect, to listen to each other with attention, to seek one another, even when we are tired. Help us not to let life's responsibilities make us forget that before we are parents, we are husband and wife. May our children look at our marriage and find an example of faithfulness. May they see that when difficulties arise, we don't run away from each other, but rather run toward you. Help us to be present, to teach by your example, to guide them with wisdom. And above all, help us build a home where your presence is more important than our perfection. May our home be a place where our children learn that true love does not mean the absence of problems, but the decision to stay, forgive, grow, and walk together with you. In the name of Yeshua, amen. We hope that this word has been a blessing for your life and your home.